Court snubs Dylan Wang and Shen Yue fans demand truth on Yumenlong case. In a shocking development that has left fans both bewildered and outraged, the court has officially denied Dylan Wang and Shen Yue's request to disclose key evidence in the mysterious death of Yumenlong. The decision has ignited a wave of public anger, with fans demanding transparency, justice, and answers to questions that have lingered for months. Yumenlong's untimely death shook fans across the world, raising countless questions about the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. As the investigation unfolded, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, two of the most prominent and influential actors of their generation, stepped forward, seeking access to critical pieces of evidence. Their request was seen as an effort not only to understand the truth but also to honor Yumenlong's memory and provide clarity for a grieving fan base. However, the court's refusal to grant the request has only fueled further speculation and debate. Many observers believe that withholding the evidence risks obscuring important facts, while fans have expressed frustration at what they perceive as a lack of transparency in the judicial process. Social media platforms erupted with reactions, with hashtags like #JusticeForYumenlong trending globally, as supporters of the late star demanded answers and accountability. The response from fans was immediate and impassioned. On Twitter, Weibo, Instagram, and TikTok, millions of followers expressed their disappointment, anger, and concern. Many argue that the denial prevents the public from understanding the full scope of Yumenlong's case, potentially delaying justice. Some fans have even suggested that the decision could conceal critical details, further deepening the mystery. Fan communities have mobilized, organizing online campaigns and petitions calling for greater transparency. They argue that celebrities like Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, with their wide-reaching influence, play a crucial role in keeping the public's attention on the case and pressuring authorities to provide answers. The collective outcry highlights how invested fans are in the pursuit of truth, demonstrating that the case has grown far beyond its initial local impact to become a global conversation. Legal experts have weighed in, offering possible reasons for the court's decision. Confidentiality regulations, ongoing investigations, or procedural restrictions could all explain why the request was denied. Yet these explanations have done little to quell the growing public frustration. Many fans and observers question whether justice is truly being served, and whether influential figures like Dylan Wang and Shen Yue should be given access to evidence to shed light on unresolved questions. Despite the setback, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue have not remained silent. Both stars released statements expressing disappointment at the court's ruling but reaffirming their commitment to seeking answers. Their messages emphasize that their involvement is driven by a genuine desire for truth and justice, rather than publicity or personal gain. Fans have been inspired by actors' dedication, voices and platforms to continue pushing for disclosure of the evidence. From discussion forums to social media posts, online communities are determined to ensure that Yumenlong's story remains in the public eye and that the call for transparency continues to grow louder. This case has highlighted a growing tension between public interest and judicial procedure. On one hand, courts are tasked with safeguarding confidentiality and ensuring fair legal processes. On the other, fans and concerned citizens argue that transparency is essential for trust, closure, and accountability. The clash between these priorities is playing out in real time, with Dylan Wang, Shen Yue, and their supporters at the center of a debate that transcends fandom. The court's denial may have blocked immediate access to evidence, but it has not dampened the public's demand for answers. Fans remain committed to uncovering the truth, inspired by the advocacy of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue. Social media campaigns, petitions, and public discussions continue to keep Yumenlong's memory alive, pressing authorities to act with integrity. While the judicial process moves at its own pace, the combined efforts of fans and influential figures ensure that Yumenlong's story will not be forgotten. The world watches closely, waiting for the day when transparency prevails and justice is finally served. In the meantime, one thing is certain: the fight for truth is far from over, and the voices calling for accountability are louder than ever. The court's denial only seemed to fuel the fire, and fans across the globe refused to stay silent. Within hours of the announcement, social media platforms erupted with reactions. Twitter, Weibo, Instagram, and TikTok were flooded with posts expressing outrage, frustration, and disbelief. Hashtags like #JusticeForYumenlong, #TruthForYumenlong, and #WeWantAnswers were trending, as supporters demanded clarity and transparency. For many, this wasn't just a celebrity case. It was a story of loss, unanswered questions, and a fight for justice that resonated on a deeply human level. Fans began dissecting every detail available, from official statements to news coverage, piecing together timelines, analyzing court rulings, and speculating about possible motives behind the decision. Discussion forums filled with long threads debating whether the denial was due to procedural reasons, ongoing investigations, or something more deliberate. In many ways, the fanbase had transformed into a grassroots investigative network, determined to keep the story alive. Meanwhile, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue remained steadfast in their commitment to uncover the truth. Both actors released heartfelt statements expressing their disappointment, acknowledging the court's decision, but making it clear that their pursuit of justice was far from over. "We are not seeking this for publicity," they said. "We are seeking this for Yumenlong, for his family, and for everyone who deserves answers. Truth should never be hidden." These statements quickly went viral, gaining millions of views and shares, and igniting renewed energy in the movement for transparency. The public response wasn't limited to online outrage. Fan communities organized virtual vigils, online petitions, and coordinated campaigns to pressure authorities into reconsidering their stance. Some fans even created interactive maps and timelines, attempting to reconstruct events around Yumenlong's death. Discussions spilled over into podcasts, YouTube commentary videos, and news segments, making it impossible for the story to be ignored. Even legal experts weighed in, debating the implications of denying the evidence and highlighting the tension between judicial confidentiality and public interest. As the days turned into weeks, the momentum only grew. Social media campaigns evolved into coordinated efforts to amplify Yumenlong's story. Fans shared personal messages about how his work had impacted them, using the tragedy as a rallying point to highlight the importance of justice, accountability, and transparency. Influencers, journalists, and other celebrities also joined the conversation, amplifying the calls for answers and keeping the spotlight firmly on the case. The narrative of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue's involvement also became a symbol of courage and responsibility. Their willingness to stand publicly to demand clarity inspired fans to believe that ordinary voices could make a difference. The case, initially seen as a tragic and isolated event, became emblematic of a larger movement. A movement where public attention, moral courage, and persistent advocacy could challenge secrecy and demand accountability. Despite the court's ruling, the story of Yumenlong has continued to captivate and mobilize millions. The denial of evidence did not silence those seeking answers. Instead, it strengthened their resolve. The collective voice of fans, combined with the dedication of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, created an unstoppable force demanding truth. Online forums buzzed with renewed discussions, theories, and updates, while virtual memorials kept Yumenlong's memory alive and ensured that the tragedy would not be forgotten. The legal battle may take months or even years to unfold fully, but the fight for truth has already left an indelible mark. In a world where information is often controlled and narratives can be managed, the united effort of fans and influential figures proves that transparency can be demanded, and accountability can be pursued. The case has transcended its initial scope, becoming a story of human resilience, moral responsibility, and the unwavering demand for justice. In the end, while the court's decision temporarily blocked access to the evidence, it did nothing to quiet the growing chorus of voices calling for answers. The story of Yumenlong is far from over, and thanks to the relentless advocacy of Dylan Wang, Shen Yue, and millions of dedicated fans, it will not fade into obscurity. The fight for truth continues, louder and more determined than ever, a testament to the power of collective voices standing against silence and secrecy. One day the truth will emerge, and when it does, the world will remember the courage, passion, and persistence that refuse to let justice be denied.